Hello. So I have done videos like this one I'm about to do before, but basically I am on holiday in New Zealand for 2 weeks, and so I thought I would do a reading books set in New Zealand while I'm in New Zealand thing. And I have 3 books, 2 physical, 1 audio. I have The Whale Rider by Witi Meira. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. But yeah, this one's quite short. It's only like 100 and something pages. Yeah, the story itself ends on page 167, and then it goes into author's notes. So yeah, this one I should be done pretty quickly. And then the other physical one I've got is called Close to You by Kara Isaac. This is a romance about people who find love in Hobbiton. And I just think the idea of that is fun. And it's a romance, so it should be pretty quick. And then the third one that I have is an audiobook of Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent, I think. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. The audiobook told me and I've already forgotten. But yeah, so these are the 3 books that I'm planning to read for this video. I'm doing a couple of videos, so if I just focus on 3 for this specific one, then I won't have to keep up with too much. But yeah, so I will check back in on this video once I've read one of these. Okay, so I got to 47 pages in, and I am DNFing this book. I don't like the writing style in it, and the way that it was written at the back. You assume that Kehu is going to be the main character and the point of view, but that's not what you get. Someone else is telling her story, and I think that's where I'm thrown off. But yeah, there's something about the writing style of this that I don't like, so I am DNFing this. So let's move on to the next one. So I did start the audiobook for Strange Sally Diamond today, and so far I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Like, she does have these like odd tendencies, like a lot of stuff as one with like autism and like taking things literally. I have experienced that, but yeah, so yeah, it hasn't said that she's autistic in it, but yeah, so I'm not sure how I feel about this one yet, so I will get back to you with my thoughts on this when I listen to a bit more. But yeah, from what I've got of it so far, it's obviously about Sally Diamond, and after her dad dies, she finds out some stuff, and people are suddenly calling her Mary, and there's a lot of questions that she isn't ready for. And so yeah, I do think that that's an interesting take, or like that's an interesting way to start your story. But yeah, again, I'm not sure how I feel about this book yet, so I will come back with some more thoughts. Bye. Ugh, that's what my hair looks like right now. Anyway, so it has been a couple of days since I did an update on my video, but I am now in Christchurch, and which is the next leg on my. Oh, there's people coming.
Hello.
Hi. Alright, they're gone. Okay, they're gone. So I thought I would do a quick update because I did finish Strange Sally Diamond actually before I left the last location, but I didn't pick up the camera. But yeah, I thought I was going to give Strange Sally Diamond a 4-star, but it got dropped down to a 3.5 because the ending of the book pissed me off. Basically, they were building up this whole book about Sally Diamond coming out of her shell, making more friends. The book was about her father dying, and she has to try and make friends and fit on her own. And all... yeah. More people. Right, I'm just gonna hold it down here and talk.
And she agreed. She said, okay.
Yeah, but the reason the ending pissed me off is because they built up this whole thing about Sally coming out of her shell, and then the last 5 minutes of it, all of that went out the window. Like she basically reversed all of her character. She basically reversed all of her character development, and ended up just being alone at the end anyway. Yeah, and the idea of the story was actually quite interesting. Basically, Sally Diamond had no essentially she had no memories before the age of 7, and then after her father dies, she finds out that she was essentially the daughter of a man who had kidnapped her mother years ago, and she got and the people she'd known as her parents were her mother's actual doctor and his wife, who had adopted her. Who had essentially adopted her after her birth mother died, and none of this came out until her adopted father passed away. So then she spends the whole book trying to figure out who her father is and all that, while also trying to build up this life she's maintained. And at the end, and in the last 10%, probably 10% of this book, all of that goes out the window. She ends up alone and back to the former shell of not talking to anyone. And I feel like, what was the point in building up her character what was the point in developing her character if that's what they're going to give us? Yeah, so this ended up sitting at a 3.5 star. And I'm going to do the other update about the other book at home, back at the hotel, because 1, I want to be able to hold it up, and 2, there's too many people in this park, and I'm going to stop. Bye! And yeah, I have also started Close to You by Kara Isaac. I'm only 1 chapter in, or about 14 pages. But yeah, my initial thoughts of this so far is I kind of like that, even though this is set around Hobbiton, the female love interest in this is literally called Shire, the last name of Shire, and she works at Hobbiton, but she doesn't actually care about any of this. She's really just doing it for, to run away from her former husband, who apparently had a wife that she didn't know about. So yeah, so she isn't working there because she wants this job. She's working there because she has to have this job. And then you've got the other love interest, Jackson. He also knows nothing about Lord of the Rings, doesn't care about Lord of the Rings. But yeah, he has to... Yeah, but he is trying to suck up to his great uncle that he hasn't actually met before, who does really like Lord of the Rings. So he's being dragged to this Hobbiton tour, and essentially it's a second chance romance between both of them, because she's broken up with her husband, and he was dumped by his girlfriend. So yeah, they're pretty much at this point where she doesn't want to be there, he doesn't want to be there, and she pretty much knows he doesn't want to be there. Yeah, so he has to pretend that he wants to be there, but she knows that he doesn't, so that it becomes like some kind of... Yeah, so, and this is what's building their relationship. But yeah, that's what I know about so far. But I do like the writing style of this one. And yeah, so I'll probably read some... I will probably read some more of this tonight, and I will get back to you about my thoughts. Bye! Okay, so this is the last book of the vlog, and I am actually really enjoying this so far. I think I'm just under halfway through, but yeah, this is essentially, I think I told you the basis of what this was about, but they've had their first, like, meet cute. Basically, Ellie falls in the mud and can't get out, and the one person she calls is Jackson to come and rescue her. Yeah, and that's a cute scene. Her being reluctant to him shoulder carrying her out of the mud. But I just thought it was a cute little scene in the first little bit of romance. They're now at the point where they're trying to pretend that they're not into each other, avoiding eye contact with each other, trying not to look. But yeah, this is actually really cute. I think this is going to be the only one in this vlog that I actually like the whole way through. But yeah, I'm just going to... There's a lovely little outside which is attached to a library, which I will have included like B-roll of before this clip. But yeah, it's quite pretty out here. It's also really windy, so I'm gonna read out here for a bit, and then I will probably move into the library itself. Bye! Hi, so it's the next day, and I did finish my book last night, so I can officially wrap up this vlog finally. But yeah, I did actually quite like this one. I ended up giving it a 4-star, because yeah, it took them a while to get their act together, but yeah, just the last third of this was quite fun. Basically, the whole book, Ellie was going through the divorce process, and in the last like 50 pages, it turns out that her husband was some like cartoon supervillain type of thing. Only after her money, and then when he gets caught, he has no remorse. Goes just full evil supervillain mode and leaves. But yeah, overall they did eventually get their act together, and yeah, I did really quite enjoy this one. I'm giving it 4 stars, and I will wrap this video up here. Bye!